Fabulous. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us. So we're going to run through Compass Plus and how you can look to integrate with your existing systems as well. It's great to have Stu in here this morning from the digital team at Careers and Enterprise Company. What I'd say to you this morning is if you've got any questions as we're going through this session, this 30 minutes, please put them in the chat, but we'll obviously hopefully open up for Q&A as well at the end. But if there's anything specific as Stu is actually talking through today, then please, obviously, feel free to put some details in and we'll make sure that everything gets covered. So without further ado, Stu, I'll hand over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jill. I'm just going to share my screen, so just bear with me a second now. So hopefully you can see that. I wonder if I think there's someone, I can hear some background noise. I wonder if someone could just mute their audio. That's okay. If not, don't worry, I can carry on. Okay, so today we're going to talk about using Compass Plus with UniFrog, Start or Xello, and welcome again to any of you who were on the session earlier that I did about hints and tips for using Compass Plus. So I'm guessing that all of you today on the session, as you're talking about using Compass Plus with partner systems, that you all have.
Just hang on a second. Can everybody mute themselves because we've got a bit of background noise? And if not, Charlotte, you should be able to mute everybody, and then obviously you can take through and back off again.
If that's the case, somebody looking to know better.
We're still.
There we go. I hope you can still. I hope you can still hear me. I can't hear that background noise now, so that's good. So, as I say, I'm guessing most people have upgraded already to Compass Plus today because you're interested in using Compass Plus with partner systems. So just to introduce myself, so my name is Struan. I'm a product manager working with the CEC product team, and I largely work on supporting the rollout of Compass Plus across the country, running things like webinars, producing training resources and other materials. So what we're going to do, I think we've got 45 minutes or so today. I want to be able to leave some questions for the end. So what I want to just take you through today is firstly just show you a demo using my demo version of Compass Plus to show you how Compass Plus handles the importation of activity data generally. So we have some careers leaders who have activity data in spreadsheets that are not in partner systems, but I want to show you sort of basically how that works, because the way that those partner systems integrate it is very similar. So we'll have a look at that first. And then of the three partners we're talking about today, UniFrog, Start and Xello, we've done a bit more work with UniFrog recently. We actually did a webinar with them, and I've got a clip from that. It's about 6 minutes long, which takes you through in detail from UniFrog point of view how to go about setting up your activity data there and exporting it, and then it also shows you as well how to import that into Compass Plus. Then we'll move on to talk about what we have in our knowledge base to support all these partner systems and their integration of Compass Plus. And at that point, I can talk a little bit more about Start and Xello. And then at the end, I can answer some questions if you have them. So as I said at the start, please feel free to put them in the chat or into the Q&A. So I'm just going to skip over now to Compass Plus. Just bear with me a second. So hopefully you can all see stop my video so I can see more of the screen. So hopefully you can see the Compass Plus dashboard there. So all of you who are already upgraded to Compass Plus should be familiar with dashboard screen. We have our snapshot view via our data visualizations here, which give a summary of our careers program at any point in time. So the way that data upload from partner organizations works, partner platforms work is broadly this. So if you if you have activities data that you either have in a spreadsheet, so we still have some schools who are working on a sort of spreadsheet-based system, or you are creating activities in partner systems such as UniFrog, Start, etc., then we've done some work to allow you to integrate that data into Compass Plus. So if you go to plans, your plans here on the primary navigation, it will take you to your plan screen. And what we have here under the actions column are a series of icons. So the first icon here, if you've not come across this already, allows you to download all your plan data. So all your activities that you've created in Compass Plus, you can download that data if need be. Now, today we're mainly talking about going the other way. So if you have activities from a spreadsheet or from another system, how do you go about updating them? So the broad principle, before we start looking at individual systems, broad principle is the same. If you see the second arrow here, it says upload activities to plan. So if I click on that, it will ask me to upload a file, upload an Excel template. Now, we might not have a file yet, we might not have a file prepared. What is key to bear in mind when you're uploading data to Compass Plus, it has to be in exactly the right format. And the system helps you do this, and also if you're exporting from UniFrog, etc., those systems will automatically format for you. So, however, if you haven't got your data in an appropriate format, as I say, you might already have data in a spreadsheet, you can download a template here. So if we download this Excel template, it'll download to your desktop or wherever. And then we can see that we have an empty template. So if you did have all your activities data in a spreadsheet and you weren't using one of those partner systems such as UniFrog, you would have to copy and paste your data into the empty spreadsheet, and obviously that might involve some some sorting of the data, making sure it is fitting, making sure you're following the correct format. And we have guidance, just to go back to our knowledge base, we have guidance within the Compass Plus knowledge base on exactly how to do that. And I'll come to the knowledge base and why that's important a little bit later. So broadly then, at a very basic level, activities data can be uploaded via this icon here. Click on the icon, make sure your data is formatted correctly, select the file, and it will ask you whether you want to go ahead, and then you import. I won't actually do that now. So that's the broad principle. So what you can upload into Compass Plus at the minute is activities data. So at the minute you can't upload destinations data, you can't upload partner data at the minute, although that is something we're always considering, because it's something that careers leaders do mention. So you can upload your activities data. So let's go back to our PowerPoint. So what this is here, as I have a video for you. So I hope you can hear the audio when I play this. So we did a webinar not long ago with staff from UniFrog, where we talked about integration between the two systems for careers leaders, and particularly how you go about setting up UniFrog to export your data in the format that's ready for Compass Plus, and how you then upload the data into Compass Plus. So I'm going to play a snapshot, play an extract from that webinar for you now. So you should be able to hear the sound. The first part of it is someone else talking. It is actually a little bit quiet for the first couple of minutes, so you might need to turn your volume up a little. But I have got the sound on share, so you should be able to hear it. So this will take you through how to upload your data from UniFrog to Compass Plus. Okay, I'm going to kick this off now.
purpose of this video is to show you how to log careers interactions on UniFrog, and then how you can download careers interactions data from UniFrog in order to bulk upload it into Compass Plus. You should log your careers interactions on UniFrog on an ongoing basis as you deliver your careers program. So to begin logging interactions, you need to be logged in as a teacher. Then from the teacher homepage, scroll down to the Manage, Sort and Experiment section. To log a careers interaction for an individual student, type the student's name in this box here. Alternatively, to log an interaction for a group of students, such as a year group or a tutor group, go to the Advanced box. From this page, you need to select the year group that you want to log an interaction for. So for example, Year 9. If you're logging an interaction for the entire of Year 9, you then would need to go to this plus interaction box here. Alternatively, if you're logging it for a tutor group in Year 9, you'll need to click Filter and then Form Name, and then select the name of the appropriate form group. So in this example, I'm going to log a careers fair which my tutor group attended. So I filtered it to show just my tutor group, and now I'm going to click plus interaction. I'll now fill out this form and it will log the careers fair as an interaction for all students in my form group. So you need to give it an appropriate title, select what type of interaction this is, and any key focuses for that interaction. You'll then need to select any relevant Gatsby benchmarks, and this is a really important part of the form as this is a key piece of data which Compass Plus takes from UniFrog. In the details box, you might want to write a short summary of the interaction and anything which the students might want to consider or think about with regard to this interaction. So for example, I've prompted students to bring a copy of their CV to this careers fair. Notes to teachers is where you might put anything which you want to make a note of that you don't want students to see. And the date and time should be when the interaction is happening or when it happened. In this case, I'm going to log this careers fair in advance. So let's say that actually this is happening in a week's time. So because I've chosen a date which is in the future, this option here is cropped up where I can remind students about the event the day before via email, which is always going to be helpful. So I'm going to tick that option. You can also attach things to the interaction, so you can attach things from UniFrog or from your own device. So because I've asked students to bring a printed copy of their CV from UniFrog to this careers fair, I might attach the CV tool from UniFrog to make it as easy as possible for students to download their CVs to bring with them. Alternatively, if you've got something else that you'd like to attach, such as a feedback form, a worksheet, or some slides, you can attach those here too. Finally, you can tick this option here to ask students to send you some feedback about this interaction. So you can ask them what they most enjoyed, what did they think, have their aspirations changed, etc. So once you've filled out the form as you need to, click Add, and that interaction will then be logged for that group of students. The students will receive an email within 24 hours to say that interaction has been logged for them. If the interaction is coming up in the future, then they will see a reminder at the very top of their student profiles about this interaction. And if the interaction has happened already, it will be stored in the interactions tool on their profiles for them to refer back to. Should you wish to edit this interaction, so for example, if you made a mistake and you need to change something, or if you want to add another attachment, you can do so by clicking Edit or Add Attachment here. So you should add interactions, as I've demonstrated, on a rolling basis as you deliver your careers program. And then when you're ready to transfer that interactions information into Compass Plus, from your teacher account homepage, you need to click Advanced. You'll need to make sure that you have selected the students you want to download the interactions data for. Make sure that any filters you've got applied, you want to be applied, and remove any which you don't wish to be applied. So for example, if I wanted the entire interactions data for all of Year 9, I've made sure that I've just got Year 9 selected and no filters applied. You'll then need to click Download in the bottom right hand corner, and from this page you'll need to select the CSV summary for CEC Compass Plus. Click this and it will download a CSV file to your computer, which you will need to bulk upload into Compass Plus, which you'll be shown how to do in the next portion of this video.
To upload your UniFrog data to Compass Plus, click on Plans, Your Plans on the Compass Plus navigation bar. Click on the upload icon, the up arrow, in the Actions column. A dialog box will pop up. Click on Select File and find the CSV file you downloaded from UniFrog. Confirm your file selection and you'll see a message confirming that your data upload has been successful. You will then see the activities logged in UniFrog appear on the Activities tab of a pupil's individual Compass Plus profile.
So that so that really sort of takes you through. So it was a snippet there taken from a webinar we did recently with UniFrog. Obviously, Charlie from UniFrog there went into quite a lot of detail about creating activities in UniFrog, and obviously those of you who already use that system will be familiar with doing that. But then you saw in the second part of that, when we looked at Compass Plus, you saw that file was uploaded in the way that I explained at the start of this webinar. So that's the broad principle, is when you have that file prepared, whether it's exported from a partner system, such as UniFrog, or you've prepared it yourself via that spreadsheet template, you upload it into to Compass Plus, and it will appear there within your plan for the current year, but also obviously the individual activities will appear in the individual for the pupil, in the pupil profiles for the pupils who are specified within the activity. So I just wanted to draw your attention to our knowledge base. So those of you so you've already used Compass Plus, you may have taken advantage of this already, but our knowledge base is where we keep all the supporting materials, all the how-to articles, all the videos, including the video you've just seen about how to use Compass Plus. And there's two ways to access it. So I'm just going to show you how to go about accessing all this information before we look at Xello and start. So you can access it in two ways. So this support widget always floats to the bottom right of the screen. This should be the first way. This should be your go-to area for looking for product support. So everything is accessible within here. So there's dozens and dozens of articles. Almost all of them are video driven, and they take you through step by step through exactly what you need to do. So in this instance, I've searched for UniFrog. There's an article here, and there's this article. We've got the instructions here, exactly how to do it in a way that that was just described by Charlie and me in that video. And if you want to access that, obviously, if you want to watch that video, you probably don't want to watch it in the small screen here. If we select to come out of there, you can see we've come to a separate tab or a separate window now, and we can go through that information in a step-by-step way. It tells you exactly how to do it. And here is the video you've just watched. So don't worry about trying to remember everything you've just seen in that video. Obviously, the video of this webinar will be sent to you, but you can access all this specific guidance about partners from the knowledge base, as we call it. So if we want to look at some other partner details and how we work with other partners. So again, if we look in our Compass Plus knowledge base here, we have articles for how to integrate with other partners. So if we look down into the plans and activities section here, and we scroll down, you'll see we have a series of articles for how to do data integrations with other partners, and we keep expanding these. So you can see here, I think there's 5 here now. So UniFrog we've just looked at. We'll have a look at UExplore, Start and Xello in a second. I've just noticed in the chat that someone's asked about Morrisby, and we can explain exactly how to do that. I think the most recent one we've added is how to integrate with a system called Your Game Plan. So we do a data integration for that there. So if we have instructions here, within our knowledge base, it means that those systems we've already spoke to those organizations. We've set up how we want to do the data integration with them, and you should be able to export your activities data directly from them. So if we look at Start, we have this hasn't got a video at the top here, but we have a step-by-step series of screens here which tell you exactly how to firstly export your data, your student interactions, as it's called, within Start, from Start. And once you've exported that file here, you go through then and import it into your plans section via the upload icon in exactly the same way. And this final screen, when you do an import, that will tell you whether the import has worked successfully or not. And similarly, if we just jump back a screen, Xello as well, again, similarly, we have step-by-step instructions there, how to follow what is essentially the same process. So you're exporting a formatted file with all your activities from Xello, and then you go through and upload that file within to Compass Plus. So I would say functionally, uploading the data into Compass Plus is very simple from these systems, and we've got these step-by-step articles. From a more kind of applied point of view, we're only really starting to kind of provide guidance on how schools should actually work. If schools want to continue working with both systems, so you might have UniFrog and Compass Plus, we're only really starting to provide that guidance. And what we found with schools, particularly who use UniFrog, is that some schools like to create their activities in UniFrog and manage those activities, those interactions for students there within UniFrog, but then do the actual data processing and gathering intelligence to inform their Gatsby benchmark progress in Compass Plus, in order that intelligence, that data intelligence that Compass Plus provide, can be better aligned with the school's strategic objectives. So, as I say, we're adding to these partner systems. So we're increasing the number of systems that we integrate with. And I've actually got a meeting next week with Start. So I think that's going to be looking at how we further recommend that schools can work with the two systems together. So at the minute, these articles support the functional integration between the two systems. Probably from the new year onwards, is look to provide greater guidance on how you can go about which parts of which system you might want to use together. Okay, so just go back to our PowerPoint slide here. So just before we go to the question section, I just wanted to draw your attention to some of the other forms of training and resources we have to support you. And obviously, if you did attend the webinar at 9:30 today, I'll have run through these already. But for those of you who didn't, I just wanted to draw your attention to the further support we have available. So if you do have any problems integrating between the systems, you know where to go. So first, obviously, is a knowledge base, which I've just discussed. So you can access that by the support widget, or you can go view that on a separate URL, separate web address, and all the support should be there for you from a practical point of view. Secondly, if you've not taken them already, we'd urge you to take our self-service online training modules. So there's 2 of those. They're free of charge. If I just go back to Compass Plus here. So if you click on the training resources section, you can access further webinars. You're obviously on a webinar today, and we continue to share webinars on different areas, different topics. As I say, we had one recently on integrating with UniFrog. We've got one this afternoon on using the Future Skills Questionnaire, which is a whole new product that CSC has launched, and we'll keep adding to those next year. But what I wanted to draw your attention to on this session today is our online training. So if you click on the button here, this online training is served through a separate system called iHasco, and it's a couple of online modules which take you through the basics of Compass Plus. It gets you to a pretty decent level of working proficiency. These modules take 30 minutes each to complete. They're mostly video driven. They have quizzes in them which test your knowledge. So you watch a video, then take a quiz, and you move through the key areas of functionality of Compass Plus. So if you've not taken those, please go in and take them. They're free, available for you and your colleagues now. And at the end of each, you get a certificate to show that you've reached a certain level of proficiency. If you do want to explore, or if you have any more further questions about Compass Plus, particularly around how you can go about help meeting your strategic objectives within your school, then obviously your enterprise coordinator is available to you. Also your hub leader if you're within a CEC hub. And finally, number 4 there's our customer service team if you do get stuck. So if you are trying to port your data across from another system, for instance, and you do have trouble and it's not working for you, you can contact our customer service team. The best way to do that, you can also access them from the support widget here. So if you can't find what you're looking for, click on leave us a message. It will pre-populate with your name and email address here. You can change it if need be, but you can type in your message there to our service team. If you need to add a screenshot, you can do. And then one of our team will aim to get back to you within 24 hours. So it's useful if you do get stuck at all. So I think I've ran through the main things I wanted to cover in terms of data integration from those partner systems, and also if you don't use a partner system, how you can move activities off spreadsheets and into Compass Plus. So happy to go through some questions now.
Yeah, we've got some questions in the chat. Just the first one was Dion is about can you also bring through the work for personal guidance appointments? So presume that if those are put into UniFrog as linking into benchmark 8, that data can come through.
Yeah, if it's in there as an interaction and it can be downloaded in the way that was described in that video, or as I say, go to the knowledge base. If you need to look through that in a step-by-step point of view, they should be able to be brought across into Compass Plus. Yeah.
Great. And then the next question, which I think is quite an interesting one from Carol around if you've actually entered planned activities in Compass Plus to show the progress for Gatsby, for Ofsted, or for the MAT trusts, and then you then upload the data from UniFrog, do you end up with duplicated data? So I think that's quite a good point around, if you're actually going into Compass Plus versus you're actually doing this integration piece. So if you can just cover that.
You shouldn't end up with duplicated data. I mean, obviously, if you're uploading an activity from another system and you've already got that activity in Compass Plus, then it would be duplicate. Though I don't know why you would have it already in Compass Plus. So there shouldn't be any duplication there, unless I slightly misunderstood that question.
Yeah.
So you're creating one place.
Carol,
you're creating one place or another. Yeah.
If I could come in, I might be able to explain what I'm talking about. Obviously, the idea of Compass Plus, we have to do it termly. So to show progress through the system on Compass Plus, if you've put all your activities in, then you can obviously use Compass to show how planned activities would impact on progress against the Gatsby benchmarks. So last year, I put everything that I did on UniFrog. So every guidance interview, every interaction, work, group activity, that all went onto UniFrog, and there's nice little charts, etc., etc. However, then obviously we're told we have to move over to Compass Plus, and that's fine. I haven't got a problem with that. But what my concern was that if I record on UniFrog the activities that I'm doing on a daily basis, and then I also have entered those planned activities onto Compass so that I can show on a termly report that we are progressing against the Gatsby benchmarks. If I then upload that data from UniFrog into Compass Plus, will I end up with it twice? I hope I'm explaining this. I'm not an IT person, but I hope I'm explaining it, and I hope it's making sense. So this year, because of that concern, I haven't recorded anything on UniFrog in as much detail as I did last year. I've just been putting everything straight onto Compass Plus. Planned activities, so careers fairs, the ETF stuff for the working class boys, lots of different things have gone on there. And then obviously when they're completed, I've marked them as completed on the Compass Plus tool. And I've actually been entering with the student present with me doing the guidance interviews. I've been asking for their consent and marking that, but it is very clunky. It's so slow and it takes a long time on Compass Plus. So this is my concern, that I'm having to sort of do things. I feel like I'm having to do things twice. So that was just something that I wanted to raise, really. I hope I've made sense there. I'm going to mute myself now because I'm going on, I know, but I hope I've made sense.
Yeah, so I mean, if you did create them in two different places, yeah, I'm still not sure why. I'm still not sure why you would create them in Compass Plus and create them in UniFrog. But if you did export from UniFrog then into Compass Plus, we would create them as a separate activity. I mean, you made a second point there about sort of speed and comfort, and how suitable the system is for you to work in the way that you do with pupils. I guess my suggestion there is that you would do it in the one place which worked best for you. Yeah, I'm not quite. Still not quite sure why you needed to create them first in Compass Plus.
Can I come back on that then, please? I've been on both sessions this morning. So the information that I've had from training and is to put your planned activities on, because then you can show progress against those benchmarks. So that's why I'm putting them. I've not put them on UniFrog. They've gone on to Compass Plus. But my question is, if I have then put them, if I've got them as a planned activity on Compass Plus to show progress against the benchmarks, and then I record that activity on UniFrog, and then I then upload that activity onto Compass Plus. My question is, will it be duplication?
Carol,
and the activity?
Sue, and I think the conversation there is, and I don't know enough about UniFrog, I know the basics, but can you put planned activities in UniFrog so that when the data, when you do the integration piece on the CSV file, just planned activities come out of UniFrog?
Yes, but you already said that you did it originally in Compass Plus. So I'm not quite sure about why you entered the data in Compass Plus.
Carol's, I think we'll take this offline and we'll get Carol. But my understanding of what Carol's saying is that she's doing that because she possibly doesn't think that you can bring the planned activity data in UniFrog. If you could do that, then she would just import it all across, and the planned activity would that then integrate within that piece within Compass Plus, to actually ensure that what the planned activity does and on the reports actually gives her the outcome. And that's the piece I think that we need to get just underneath a bit.
I think we might have to yeah, I mean, it's taken up quite. Yeah, I think you might have to take this one offline.
Carol, leave that with us, and we'll pick up with Stu.
Thanks, Jill.
I understand where you're coming
Thanks,
from.
Jill. I think you know exactly what I'm coming from, because you. Yeah. Thank you.
I completely understand it. I'm just conscious of everybody's time, but we'll come back to you definitely on that one.
Thank you.
The other one that I just wanted to cover really was the fact that there is no integration at the moment with actual students. Sorry, there isn't any way that students can access Compass Plus at the moment. And Stu, and I don't know whether there's any sort of response back from CEC around where we are with Compass Plus and where we're expecting to take this in the future, because I know we always started off saying that we weren't looking to compete against the likes of UniFrogs, these sort of systems that are actually bought in, and I just wonder whether you could give a bit of an update on that.
Well, there's new features planned and released all the time. There's one this afternoon. So for instance, we have a webinar this afternoon to talk about the Future Skills Questionnaire that you might be familiar with, which is about is a questionnaire for students, incorporates students, but there's no plans at the minute to open up Compass Plus as a student facing tool.
Okay. And obviously you all know that you can obviously print off the reports for students, so you can use them to show them what they've done, what's been created for them against each of the benchmarks, and the fact that you can obviously utilise that for parents' evenings and give actual copies of that to students, because each individual student report can be uploaded. The other question that I just wanted to cover as well is that Matt's mentioned is around, once you've actually uploaded the data from UniFrog, the next time you do it, it doesn't duplicate it, doesn't it? Because the integration piece between UniFrog and Compass Plus picks up new data. Would that be right, Struan, in terms of what they're actually bringing in?
Yeah, and when you're exporting that data from UniFrog, you wouldn't, in that video you saw the person from UniFrog, Charlie, go through how you select the particular data that you want to export. So my understanding is that you wouldn't import previous data, if you see what I mean. You would only import the new data that you want to import.
So you're not constantly updating all of your data. When you've updated, say at the end of December, when you come to do it in March, you're actually picking up the data that you've actually put in between the next date. That's how you work with. If you've never done it before, once you start to do it, you'll understand that this integration piece, you're only picking up the new data every time, so that there isn't that duplication.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. Great, I think we're all right. I'm just conscious of everybody's time, and we will come back on what Carol and I know a few other people are asking about. I think it's that planned activities when we've got career leaders actually going in and looking at, if I plan this, how does that work? Should they be implementing that in Compass Plus versus doing it?
Yeah, I think possibly behind that is also, as well as possibly a question around the dating of activities. But as I say, let's take that one offline, because obviously, we don't want people using the systems inefficiently or repeating things where you don't need to. So let's try and work that one out.
And I think that the biggest thing for me this morning was to obviously get you all to see that actually by having Compass Plus that you don't need to duplicate, because that's obviously creating a lot of work for you, but also as well with UniFrog, because we know those systems are utilised by other members of the staff more than obviously Compass Plus is. That obviously if your teaching staff are all inputting through UniFrog, actually you're just then uploading all of that information in. So it's just reducing keying, which is the reason why we try to integrate systems. So you've just got one input point, and then obviously all of that data then is pulled through the system. Can I just say to everybody, it's great to have you all on this morning. If there's any other questions after this session, if you can send them into the careershub@growthplatform.org, into our central mailbox, and we'll pick up any further questions, and certainly over the coming weeks, or certainly should I say after Christmas, if you start to utilise the integration piece, if you've got any further questions, there's obviously the support button that's on Compass Plus there on the bottom right hand side. But again, any questions, just send them in, and we'll go back to the team and make sure that we get any queries answered for everybody. Just before we shut off, is there anything anybody else just wants to raise, and I'll let you all get back to your day job? No? Great. Well, thanks very much. We'll send out any further information. We'll send out the recording as well for everybody. And like I said, we'll catch up with you all soon. Thank you very much.